She lay awake that night, eyes tracing the cracks in the ceiling, thoughts spiraling like smoke. The offer Kemi and Dele had made wouldn't leave her mind. Millions of naira. Enough to change everything. She could finally help her family in the village, save up, maybe even travel abroad like her friend Udak. A better life whispered to her in the dark. But the weight of what was being asked pulled at her chest. Ich, karas, karas. Karas, 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 karas. This wasn't just a job. This was a life. A child. Kemi and Dele were good people, married 4 years, deeply in love, but broken by the one thing they couldn't have, a child. They had tried everything, from doctors to prayers, but nothing worked. Kemi had grown quieter each day, sadness resting beneath her smile. Dele too carried the weight, though he tried to be strong for them both. Then one evening, after yet another disappointing doctor's visit, the idea came. What if someone else could carry their baby? It was a frightening thought, but desperation makes room for possibilities, and when they thought about who they could trust, only one name came to mind: Eno, their house help. Loyal, quiet, and kind, Eno had been with them for years, more family than staff. They sat her down one morning, nervous and gentle. Eno could sense something serious before they even spoke. When Kemi finally asked if she would consider being their surrogate, Eno's breath caught. She stared at them, unsure if she heard right. Carry their baby? Dele leaned in, careful with his words. They would take care of everything. They would pay her generously. Millions. Eno's heart thudded at the mention of the money. That was more than she'd ever seen, but also, what they were asking wasn't small. It wasn't just money. It was motherhood. That night, she couldn't sleep. She thought about her family back home, the struggling farm, her younger siblings. This money could change everything. But what if something went wrong? What if she couldn't let go of the baby? The next day her phone rang, Udak calling from abroad. Udak's voice trembled with surprise at first, then turned serious. "So, this is your chance. That money, it could bring you here. A new life. No one gets this kind of opportunity twice." Her words lingered long after the call ended. By morning, Eno had made her decision. She approached Kemi and Dele at breakfast. Her voice shook slightly as she said, "I'll do it." Relief flooded their faces. Dele promised everything would be handled legally and fairly. Kemi, teary-eyed, thanked her again and again. They drew up a contract. Eno signed. Quietly, she began to build her plan, saving every naira, counting days. In time, she became pregnant. Kemi glowed with joy. She pampered Eno, called her family. Dele was always checking in. Everyone was excited. But Eno stayed focused. When the baby boy arrived, they named him Toby. A miracle. Kemi and Dele cried as they held him. Eno watched from the corner of the hospital room, a quiet smile on her face. A year later, it happened again. Eno was pregnant. This time, it was a girl. They named her Ife. "Hope, you've made our family complete," Kemi said, holding Eno's hand. But Eno's thoughts were elsewhere. She had been saving, planning, every coin, every day. Then, one quiet night, after putting both children to sleep, she packed her bag. She moved silently, pausing at the door. She looked back at the room, at the house that had been her world. She thought of Toby and Ife, the children she had brought into it, and then, without a word, she disappeared into the night. By morning, she was gone. No note, no trace. Kemi and Dele found her room empty. Panic turned to heartbreak. They searched, they called, but she had vanished. Eno was already gone, on a plane, leaving Nigeria behind. Abroad, her life wasn't easy. She worked long hours, but with the money she had saved and the little she earned, she built something real. She got a job, then a better one. Years passed. 7 of them. But every night, Toby and Ife returned to her in memory. Then, One morning, her phone rang again. Udak. They talked, laughed, then fell silent. "Have you thought of going back?" Udak asked. Ino didn't answer immediately. Her heart was already there. "Yes," she said finally. "It's time. I'm going back, to reclaim what's mine." And just like that, the story wasn't over. It was just about to begin.